The main part of our assignment today is lesson 2.07, Latin American Independence Movements. This was an in-class lesson and assignment. It is linked in the class announcements. You can also get to it by going to content and then scrolling down on the left-hand side to 2.07. So I'm going to go to it right here, 2.07. The introduction says from the early 1500s, Spanish and Portuguese monarchs had ruled their Latin American colonies with a tight grip. Strict policies ensured that the colonies would be a source of wealth for their mother countries. A rigid class structure ensured that only the descendants of colonists could be made officials to carry out the king's will. But by 1800, some of these officials, familiar with Enlightenment philosophy and inspired by the American and French revolutions, both of those are things that you have just been learning about in previous lessons, began to speak in revolutionary terms. How would they change the face of Latin America? So most Latin American countries, well, all Latin American countries were originally owned or colonized by European countries during this time. So they're starting to think in terms of revolutionary terms, the people who are living there, and then how they're going to think about becoming independent in the face of these changes in Enlightenment philosophy. So these were our lesson objectives, but we focused on key leaders of the independence movements in Latin America and their accomplishments for the lesson that we did in class. This gave the reading assignment, but we didn't do all of this. But when we got to this page on Latin American leaders, this is where we started. In 1697, a treaty settled hostilities between France and Spain on the island of Hispaniola by dividing it between them. France received the western third of the island and named it. If you don't know how to pronounce something, you can click on it. Saint-Domingue. Not sure if you heard that off of my other monitor. French settlements there grew, but the French colonists remained in the minority. Most of the colony's inhabitants were enslaved people, descendants of the enslaved Africans brought to the island by the Spanish in the early 1500s. When revolution broke out in 1789, French colonists tried to keep news and information from their enslaved people. Why would they do that? Choose one person from the following 3 pages to profile in your character sketch called Leaders of Latin American Independence. And then it says to put the profile in your history journal. Actually, what you're going to do, yes, it will be part of your history journal, but you're going to actually turn it in. So this was the part that we actually did in class today, choosing one person from the pages to profile in a character sketch. So the people that you had to choose from were Toussaint Louverture. You would answer these questions about him. The second choice would be Simon Bolivar, and these are the questions about him. Or you could choose Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla, and these are the questions about him. So you're going to choose one of those 3, answer the questions on a piece of paper or in a Word document. And when you are answering questions, please, please, please do not copy the question and paste it into Google and then copy and paste the answers directly out of Google. That is not going to help you learn. You need to use your book, or you can use the digital textbook. The digital textbook is linked on the announcements page in the live class resources section, or you can find another link to it in table contents, but it's buried in there. Do your own learning. If I want to know what Google says, I could go look it up myself, but I want you to tell me from your own learning. Then when you go to the next page, this is where you are going to turn in your assignment. It reviews the directions for you for the character sketch, which is just answering questions for that leader that you chose, and then uploading your file.